What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the I'm Not Lucky, I'm Blessed podcast, episode number 22. And today, as usual, I have a special guest in the building with me, okay? But for shout out to the pink shirt we're all putting on. Living, not existing. I love the shirt, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you for wearing it.
Thank you, man. So, before we start today's episode, real quick, if this is your first time listening to this podcast or watching this video, please subscribe to the channel, okay? And if you want to be part of it, just DM me on Instagram at Hardwork Pays Me. I would definitely bring you on, okay? So with that said, our today's special guest is a motivational speaker. I came across his video on Instagram a few days ago, very powerful video, and we're gonna talk about that video too. And he just released a book called the 3.0 GPA and
G.P.A equals 4.0.
oh yeah, G.P.A equals 1.0. My bad. Okay, I haven't read the book honestly, but today we're gonna talk about the book and also just speak about life in general. I believe he has a great mindset. I love the way he thinks. I love the way he speaks. When you see someone and you just automatically just like real recognize real. You just click with the person. That's kind of like how we clicked. And today I'm excited to bring him out for you guys to listen and learn from him. Okay, so with that said, guys, let's dive in. Himmanuel, how you doing?
I'm doing quite great. Great, amazing, superb. Thank you.
You're
How
welcome.
are you?
I'm doing great myself. I'm happy that we're finally doing this. It's been a long time coming, and today was just a perfect day for us to actually sit down and shoot this video. So, brother, thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me as a guest. I appreciate this so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So there's this question I always love to start my podcast with,
Okay.
and it's very simple. Do you feel you're lucky or you're blessed?
Both.
Both. Why do you say that?
Simple. So my name is Himmanuel, and that means God is with us.
Facts.
So I'm automatically blessed.
Facts.
If God is with us, then we blessed.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm lucky because fortune always follows me.
So, yeah, I get what you're saying. So, originally God speaks you because of your name, and then naturally luck just follows you.
Yes, sir.
Facts. It's kind of like the opposite of me. My name is Lucky. So, I am naturally lucky.
Lucky
Okay?
and blessed.
Lucky,
We're together.
yeah, we're together. Yo, for real.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah, for real. This is first time I'm actually having this. Wow, that's a good way to say. Yeah, I'm lucky. He's blessed, but I'm not lucky. Okay, I'm blessed. Oh man, I'm really loving this conversation. But your name is pronounced differently.
Yes.
Why is that? If you don't mind me asking.
So my grandmother, she came up with my name.
Oh,
And my grandfather is Hector, my grandmother is Isabella, and my father is Manuel.
okay.
So Hector, H, Isabella, I, and then Manuel.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
makes
she
sense.
put the first two initials
Two
of her
digits
name.
together and then, yeah, made the name. Oh, awesome. Bro, let's real quick for those of them listening out there that don't know you. Okay.
Okay.
Can you please introduce your humble self?
Introduce myself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure.
Who are you?
Where am I?
No, who are you right now?
Right now I'm in the stages of developing everything that I am.
Okay.
So I've come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still at the very beginning. Right now has been the pregnancy, the gestation of everything, and now it's time to give birth.
Okay.
Now it's time to go through labor and actually deliver the baby. So without further ado, I'm basically I started a company called Hima to motivate people, to inspire people, to heal people, in all sense of the matter. So physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And no, I'm not the perfect individual because we
Facts.
could always improve and get better. That's
Yeah,
the whole purpose
yeah.
of this, is to increase yourself from who you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So my game is personal development every single day. If you can get 1% better every single day, there's nothing that you can't do.
That's a mindset I have to just 1% better every day. Growing and just getting better. I like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah. So what is Hima Vision?
Hima stands for a multitude of things, but mainly Hima is free time in Japanese,
Okay.
and vision is kind of like what you envision for your future. What do you have for your goals, your ambitions, your desires?
Mm-hmm.
And when you put that together, it's like, what are you doing in your free time to make your
To make
desires
your
come to
desires.
fruition? Hima
Oh,
Vision.
Hima Vision. Makes sense. I like how your name and things just connects, you know. I like how you
Me
came up with the
too.
Hima Vision, like for real. Like that's a beautiful mindset.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes, sir, please.
So the I,
Yeah.
if you ignore that, you see
H.
the H.
Yeah, I'm just
There's
seeing that for
also
the
a
first
V
time. Yeah, there's a V too. Yeah.
and there's an arrow.
Yeah, there's a.
So I knew one day in high school, I was drawing in the back of my notebook, and it was just the cardboard, and I was just drawing, and I just put my initials in one single letter, so that's how it looks. And I'm a Sagittarius, so that's why the arrow's there.
Oh.
And I told myself, that's interesting. One day this is going to be your company. And I had no idea
No
what it was going
idea.
to be.
Yeah.
I had no clue what it was going to look like and what it was going to bring to the people that I'm serving, the people that I'm here for. I had no idea what it was going to do for me, my family. And it just happened. It just came all together, you know.
Everything is now making sense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was listening to this speech by Steve Jobs, and he was saying how he got out of school and then he started taking a programming class for no fucking reason, and it didn't even make sense at first, you know. He was just going through the motion, and later on everything starts to make sense to him. Like if he didn't take that programming class, he wouldn't have come up with the first laptop. Like there was a system they did that he only got that because he was in that class, and that was what actually made him he was, and also like things, like everything, like at first things might not be making sense, but everything is gonna connect. The pictures,
Yeah.
everything, like it's like a puzzle, one is coming in, you're like, what it's like, what am I doing at this point in my life right now, and you just go through it. You get right, and then before you know it, you're like, oh, I went through that because of this. I went
Yes,
through.
sir.
That's kind of like how it is. Like you drew that how many years ago, and now it's what's in front of us. Now what we're talking about right now.
8 years ago.
8 years ago. Damn, powerful.
Can I say something else?
Yes, you
Steve Jobs
can.
did?
You can say anything.
So Steve Jobs also pointed out that there's a grid, right? And it's like a line, a line, a line. And this is where you used to be, this little grid right here. And this is where you are. And this is the frequency, right? This is where you were, this is where you are.
Yeah.
You can look back in life and see where you came from. And you can't look forward in life and see where you want to go.
Yeah.
You may want to get there, but you don't know how to get there. You know how you got from here to here. So all you can do is keep moving forward.
That's true.
So, like you said, putting all the pieces together, finally you see the big picture.
Yeah,
once
connecting the
you're done.
dots.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of like what the speech I had him say was like mostly using connecting the dots, like later on. So what is the I on the logo stands for?
Vision.
The vision. Oh, makes sense. No, because right now I think everything about you just seems extraordinary. That I could look at you and see an eye, but I know it means something else to you. You get me, right? That's kind of like how I see you think right now. Okay, so yeah, can you still introduce yourself more?
Yes. So I'm a former foster child, and I know that a lot of children in foster care didn't necessarily have the most helpful upbringing.
Yeah.
And what that entails for me is like I didn't have the necessary skills to cook for myself, clean for myself, groom myself, and I could only imagine what other children were going through. Like they don't know how to tie a tie, they don't know how to talk at an interview, they don't know how to present themselves in any manner, shape, or form. And I came across a stumbling fact that over 50% of the homeless population across the United States are people that are foster children that are aged out of the foster care system. And I was like, why is that? And it's because they don't have the basic intrinsic values that's going to help them be the person they need to be so that they can go work, they can get a house, they can get a car, they can go do whatever the things that they need to do as a person and fulfill their life and their purpose. And all I wanted to do was give back to them, to be there for them and show them a way. And that's what this platform's for. So that them and other people who are like them, whether they're in foster children or not, or whether they've been through trauma or not, or people that just want to improve their lives, can have something that they can look forward to, something they can learn from, something that they can share amongst themselves and actually be inspired from, and then even go and do their own thing. So that's basically what it is.
That's deep, man. So you doing all this from personal experience, what you've been through.
Yes, sir.
You wish someone was there for you to, put you through all this to make life better and easier. I definitely understand, like, raising up in a foster home, no mom, no dad. That love and attention is not there. Someone to guide you through life and tell you things. It's missing. Even the basic things, like you said, it's not even about it's just the basic things, like, like not a tie. Brush your teeth even possible. Like, kids don't even know how to do that. And these are like sometimes the kids we see out there, and we just make fun of him and say, "Oh, he look at his teeth are not clean." But like for real, no one was there to show him how to brush his teeth. Yeah. Like,
When you're going through trauma, when you're going through surviving, you don't think about the things that you need to do on a day-to-day basis, like personal care.
Yeah. Damn. Okay. And so, what's this book about?
So this book that I put together is called G.P.A. equals 4.0.
G.P.A.
The formula for conquering your goals, plans, and actions.
Say it again. G.P.A. equals 4.0.
The formula for conquering your goals, plans, and actions.
So what is the formula for conquering your goals, plans, and actions?
I can't give you that. It's in the book.
Okay.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
The letters GPA are in every single chapter because they are literally what makes the formula succeed. So the formula is 2G plus 3P plus 3A.
Oh, wow.
And every chapter is part of that formula. And when you put all that together, you will succeed in your goals. You will succeed in your desires. You will succeed in bringing your ideas into life. Because how else did I create Himmavision? How else did I get to the point where I have a book? How else did I get to the point where I'm at this point in my life where I could have been addicted to drugs? I could have been homeless. I was a couple of times. I could have been, in jail. I could have been dead. I could have been all these statistic stereotypes. But because of who I am and what I want to bring into my life and what I want to do for others, I put this formula and I attach it to myself. So I want to share it. I put it together and I shared it with the world.
What made you want to share this book with the world? What made you want to write a book like that? There could have been so many books you could have written. Like, why this specific book?
That's a great question. The reason why I wanted to write this specific book, again, it just ties back in. I wanted someone there for me. Nobody was there for me.
Facts.
And there's countless of other people that you can't even imagine. That's because when you think about it, there's 8 billion people in this world. Yes. But that's just presently. There's people in the past that exceed the amount of people that are existing right now.
Yeah.
There's people in the future that we can never understand how many people will actually be here. And so this is for the people that are going to be here in the future as well. Like, we don't know what the impact that we do in our day-to-day lives will have on the future. You know, Benjamin Franklin, did he imagine that he was going to be teaching billions and billions of people years on in the future? No, he was just living day-to-day lives. But it's like the butterfly effect. Everything you do has a cause and effect. So this book is to help people, regardless of where they're at in life.
Okay. So is it possible for you to go a little bit about the book, just whatever you can explain about the book?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I talk about the 4 core values, right? Because you can't change anything until you change your mindset about something, right? Everything starts with the mind. So if you get into a fight and someone punches you in your head, the rest of your body follows your head. So you have to start with the mind. Everything starts with the mind. It's like a seed. So you plant the seed and it grows. So the first 4 chapters are called 4 core concepts. And I use those 4 core concepts to change the idea of what you perceive life to be and how you can see your goals and your ideas and your dreams and then actually make them a reality. A lot of people are used to thinking small or used to thinking that that's not possible or just thinking that they're not worthy enough. And why is that? Someone in their life told them that they're not capable of doing something. And so I'm here with that 4 core concept to tell you, this is you. You need to work on you. Before you can do anything else in this world, you need to work on you. And so that first 4 chapter, core concept, make sure that your core is strong. You know, the trunk of a tree, when the wind comes or the storm comes, it may sway, it may bend this way, but its core is so strong, it's not going to bend, break, or snap. And that's what you need to do. You need to develop your core. After that, you dive into the formula that's actually going to transform your goals into reality. And you do that through your goals, plans, and actions. And I teach you how to do that inside the book. How to set your proper goals, how to make them into plans, because a goal without a plan is just a dream, right?
Yeah.
So how to put your goals into a plan and how to take action on it. And a lot of people you you saw the video. They're scared to take the action on their dreams. They're scared, and there's no need to be. You know, they're scared of our great potential, not scared of failing. We're scared of how great we could actually be. That's why people tend to not do something.
So it's not even the fear of failure that stops people from doing something. It's a scared of how great they can be that actually scares them.
Sometimes,
Sometimes, yeah.
Imagine how great you could actually be at something, and then think about that. That right there, that mountaintop you have to climb. That's scary because you're like, whoa, what if I fail and don't get there? But you're not worried about failing. You're worried about becoming that great. Why be scared?
Well, it's deep.
Thank you.
Whew. So, this book is all about goal setting and then the actions you need to take to achieve these goals.
Yes, sir.
Yes, makes sense. Why do you think it's important for us to set goals? Like, is it possible to live life without a goal?
That's a good question. So, this shit right here,
Yeah.
it says living, not existing.
Okay.
There's a reason behind that, and it answers your question, right? When I was going to work, going to school, going home, going to work, going to school, going home,
Yeah.
going to work,
Every single
going
day.
to school. It was just a cycle, over and over and over again, and I just had no purpose, had no goals, had no ambition, no desire, and I felt alone. I was alone, and then when I wasn't alone, I felt lonely. Right? I could be in a crowd of people and still feel lonely. I could be by myself and feel lonely. And I just kept asking myself, what is my purpose? What am I gonna do in life? What am I here for? Like why am I here? Like what can I do? And without the goals set, your life is just existing. There's nothing that you can actually do or create because you don't have an intention behind it. You're just doing things just to do it. It's kind of like it's like a cell bacteria. You're just moving just because you have to. You don't know why you're doing it, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be intentional about my life.
Oh.
And to be intentional, you have to have a purpose. And that purpose, you have to have goals. So when you have a purpose and you have intentions, you have to have goals. If you don't have goals, you're just existing. So I'd rather be living than not existing.
Not existing. It's funny you said this,
It's
because
1 o'clock.
interesting you said this, because this is a mindset I've always had. I want to live and not exist. I just feel like I know I was made for something. Everyone was made for something.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, till you get to that point where you're tired of doing the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You go to work, home, sleep. Like you said, I was in that phase in my life where I was just doing the regular things. And within me, I was not satisfied. I was like, is this what I really came into this world to do? Like, just to pay bills and die? Like, I had so much energy in me. I have so much strength in me. And I see myself just putting it into a field that I don't even enjoy. So I started, like, literally, it got to a point that I told myself, look, if my gift can't feed me, let me die. Because the last thing I want to do, no disrespect for someone working for someone or anything, but I realized that I was fanning someone's flame. I was not like it, like 9 to 5. Yeah, it works. I still have a 9 to 5, you know, but I still come back home and work on my goals.
Mm-hmm.
I still keep the 9 to 5, come back home and do what I have to do. Like, this podcast is one of my biggest goals in life. Like, I have had this goal for so long. Like, literally so long. I've been talking about having a podcast for so long. And this is going to lead to my next question. Because I was always waiting for the time to be right. I was always waiting to have the right equipment. I was always waiting to be, the right timing, the right things. I want everything to be perfect before I take my step. And then I came across this saying that says, she said she would rather have you take 10 wrong steps in life than to just sit back and trying to analyze one step to take.
Mm.
And that's one thing that I see affect so many people in achieving their goals. They think too much.
Yes, sir.
They overanalyze things like, I want this to be perfect. I want this to be. And it's funny because that's the thing with smart people. Smart people overthink. It's not even about being smart. It's about being bold.
Yes, sir.
And my next question is, why do people act like that? Like, why do people always want to have this perfect life before they go for something? I don't know if you have an answer to this. Like, why do people always want to be the perfect moment, the perfect guy, the perfect woman, the perfect everything? They want something to be perfect before they go. And life never works like that.
Well, why do people wait for everything to be perfect?
Yeah, what do they wait for?
That's real. So, if you think about it, right? If you really think about it, people tend to second guess themselves. When we were kids, when you were a child, did you ever second guess what you did, or did you just do it first?
Just do it first, yeah. We didn't even care about second guess.
Absolutely. And then at some point, you got disciplined enough, and you were told, hey, think before you do something. Think before you act. And why is that? Because we kept getting in trouble for societal standards.
Yeah.
And we have to fit into this mold of what society dictates for us. For what? When you actually do what you want to do, there's no one limiting you. So now these limiting beliefs are set in our minds, and if we're conditioned to be limiting, then what are we gonna do the rest of our lives? Be limiting.
Limiting, yeah.
So when you start thinking about what I want to do, I want to do this. Wait, hold on, I can't do it until this is this, because now they're second guessing themselves because the first thing that they were taught was think before you do. You ever heard someone tell you that? Think before you do something?
Think before you do something, yeah.
Right? So it's like, if 100, you ever had a parent ask you this, if 100 of your friends go jump off a bridge, would you jump and join them?
That's a question for me to answer?
Did your parents ever ask you that?
Oh, yeah, when I was a kid.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my mom, she asked me that too, and I was a smart ass about it. I said, actually, yeah, I would.
I would, yeah.
And I would get a parachute. But at the end of the day, we're conditioned at an early age to be limiting towards our actions. And I don't know if you've seen a baby walk.
Yeah, I've seen him.
I don't know if you've seen a child ride a bike.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen animals when they're first born, they just go and do, right? A baby will continue falling over and over and over again until it finally is able to walk.
Facts.
A child will fall over and over and over again until they're finally able to ride the bike. As adults, we've been losing so many times, we've been failed so many times, we've been conditioned and taught and said all these mental things to ourselves. Oh, you failed, you're not good enough. And we've built this self-belief of not being great enough if we fail. But the only way to succeed is to fail.
It's to fail, yeah.
The only way, you have to fail your way to success. That's a quote I heard before. You have to fail forward.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to do that, you're gonna be stuck in that mindset of everything has to be perfect before I do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You have to fail. You have to learn.
Wow. Speaking of babies being born, there was this video I saw. Have you ever seen a baby giraffe baby giraffes when they give birth to baby giraffes?
No.
Bro, it's insane. It's the typical example of life.
Okay.
So let me just quickly share this with you. So, you know how tall the giraffe is, right?
Yes, sir.
That baby falls all the way up there to the floor. Boom. So it's not like the mom was down there giving birth to him. She gave birth to him up here. And then he falls, lands on the floor. That's the first step.
Wait. Like, it just falls.
Yeah,
it
just
doesn't
falls.
even, like, land on his feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a baby. Can't even land,
Right.
Fresh. Falls. And then I was watching this video, and then my thought was like, okay, the mom will actually try to show him some love and help him get up, right? Like, she'll probably lick him. Nah, she didn't. Guess what she did? She kicked him. And then he stood up. Like, after a few minutes, like, he stood up, was trying to get back on his feet. And then she tripped him. He fell back again. That went on and on for like several times. Like, the baby would come back up, she trip him down. Come back up, she trip him down until he got to a point where the baby was so tired, but she kept doing that. And then the speaker says, this is what it is to survive in the wild. You probably think that mom is a weak, like she's heartless, she's ruthless, but she's just trying to get her baby ready for when a lion comes. Because like I could give birth to you right now, and then a lion could just show up. Right, I will run, but you won't be able to run, and it's gonna eat you. So it's this whole mindset that we want to be comfortable and stuff like that. Like, oh, we need, sometimes we just have to accept life for what it is. Like that baby giraffe didn't have a choice. Like he could have been born in a world with love and kisses and all that, but no, like it's like, hey, this is what it is here. Okay, if you want to survive here, you have to get back on your feet every time you fall. That was just the message. Like every single time you fall, get back on your feet. Every single time you fall, get back. It doesn't matter. Get back until you're strong enough to succeed. And when I watched that video, that was when I gave myself that permission. That, oh, I just have to fail then. I just have to fucking fail every single time. Like, I gave myself permission. Like, I'm not even looking for success when I do something. I'm just looking for, okay, if I failed, no big deal, man. Let's fail and keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
So that was how, like, everything, like me coming up in every single thing about me, it's all out of failure. It's all out of just, nothing was just like given, like, hey, this is it. Now everything has to be you fail and then you get from it. And it gets to a point where I realized that me failing wasn't even a bad thing. Failures were just making me strong for the next. So it's like the challenge you get is a reward for your last failure. You get it, right?
Say it again.
So like that, what you like, the next situation you face in life is a reward for you. It's like game. Level 1, you kill the bad guy, right? And then you go to a level that is even harder than, more even the bad guy is stronger than this previous guy.
Yes, sir.
That's how life is.
Life doesn't get easier. You just get better.
You just get better. Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. So in the book, you there was a dedication. You made a dedication to Marcus.
Yes.
And I was curious, who's Marcus?
So Marcus is also a former foster child.
Wow.
We didn't have the same home. We met in high school, and funny story is I moved to Boston, and he was probably the only friend who visited me faithfully every single weekend. Every single Friday, he'd come to my job. I'd sneak him in there, and we'd watch Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
They would have a new episode called Dragon Ball Super. We'd go and watch it. We'd get food, and we'd just chill for hours. They'd come to my house. We'd always have food, listen to music, and it would always be positive music. There was no music that limited us. So there was a guy that we loved, Russ, and every single one of his songs, almost every one of his songs, are about manifesting his desires into reality. He did that for 10 years straight, and now he's actually manifested all the things in his songs. And so Marcus is my brother that basically I never had in foster care or in real life, because I do have siblings, but I didn't get to grow up with them. He was my brother at that point, and it was sad to see him go, because
So rest in peace.
yes, sir. Thank you. And when I was living at in Bowdoin, he was living with me. My wife was living with me, and I had an ex-business partner. And we were just trying to get out of that situation of living there and trying to get our life to the next level. And after we left there, we were actually all ended up homeless. And so it was difficult, because we were telling each other, hey, I'm not going to see you for 3 months. You're not going to see me for 3 months. We're just going to work on getting our money right. We're going to make sure our lives are right, and we're going to do what we're supposed to be doing. And for me, that really meant the world, because I know he meant that. He's a man of his word. I meant that too, and I have to take care of my wife and my child. And it was a difficult moment for both of us.
Fact.
So he had texted me, and he asked me for a couple of things I didn't have at the moment. And then a month later, I get a call from my friend. I'm at work. I'm a teacher at the moment. And he says, hey, I know you're upset. I said, upset about what? He said, bro, Marcus just passed away. I said, what? He's like, you didn't know? I thought you knew, bro. Marcus passed away. I know you guys were close and everything like that. I just wanted to make sure you're good. And I couldn't believe it. So I hung up the phone, and I called Marcus at least 18 times.
18 times.
And I was crying at this point. I had to find a room, because the kids are watching, so I was like, nah, this is not possible. This is not it. So I walked past my supervisor. I said, hey, my brother just passed away. I don't know how to, I just want to make sure he's good, like if this is true or not. And so she goes to leave work right now. like go. And it took me a while to recuperate from that. For at least 7 to 6 months, I couldn't shower right. I couldn't brush my teeth properly. I couldn't eat right. I couldn't sleep right. I didn't work out. I had no ambition to do anything Hima vision wise. I had no ambition to like. And my daughter was still in front of my eyes, and it was just like I felt like a failure as a father because I'm like I have to be there for her, but at the same time I can't. I need to be there for myself. That's why that core development is so important. And so I think it was about 7 months later where I had this intense emotion to just go see where his burial was at, because even the cemetery, like when they had buried him, the funeral, I never got an invitation. I was living in Boston, and everyone that said that they were trying to contact me didn't have my information, didn't have my phone number, and so it was difficult for me even further because I didn't see him get buried.
Yeah.
So there was no final closure on that either.
Fuck.
So 7 months later, I had this intense like desire to go see where he was buried, and I asked a friend who knew where he was buried. I said, "Hey, where's his site at?" And he told me, "I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's at this funeral home, this cemetery." And so I said, "Okay, I think I know where that's at." So I called up one friend, and I said, "Hey, do you want to go see Marcus's grave today?" He said, "Yeah, actually. When are you going?" I said, "I'm going right now, but I can link you later." And then he told me, "Sure." About 30 minutes later, he called me back. He goes, "Hey, is it cool if I invite dot 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 everyone that I actually met him with?" Like this was when I first met him. This was the group, and so I said, "Of course, absolutely." But at the point, I didn't know where his grave was, so I was just gonna walk around aimlessly looking for him.
Looking for him, yeah.
And so I asked them. I said, "Did they know where he was?" They said no. I said, "Okay, I gotta figure this out then." So I left a little bit earlier, right? And when I got there, they called me. They said they're on their way. They're like 10 minutes down the street. I said, "Whoa." So I got to the cemetery. I had no idea where he was. And this thing was massive.
Massive, yeah.
And I'm going through it. And I'm like, for some reason, I'm thinking this in this area. But I was like, nah, that's not it. And so I ignored my intuition.
Yeah.
And I went this way. And I kept looking. The further I went, the older the dates got. So it was like 1860, this, that. I'm like, okay, this is the wrong direction. So I started following the dates on the grave sites. Lo and behold, the place I wanted to go to originally is exactly where his burial site was. And I said, whoa, it's like he kind of guided me on this day where it was perfectly sunny and everyone was available to go see his site. And they asked me, they said, "How did you know where he was buried? What made you want to come out here?" I said, "Honestly, I don't know. I think it was him. I think he wanted me. I think he needed me to go see that so that I could heal from his passing, because it was difficult. It was really difficult." And then from that point forward, I started working on the book even more, because I had it as an idea in my mind, and I couldn't type it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was trying to type it for like months. It took 2 or 3 months, and I had like one paragraph. So I got a journal, and I said, "All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write it every day." So I was at work, and this was the only thing keeping me going. Again, a goal, right? And I said, "I'm gonna do this for Marcus. I'm gonna make this for him." So I started writing in the book every single day, and my job was so upset with me. They were like, "Hey, I understand, you're going through a lot, but like, you have to focus." I'm like, "The kid is reading. I just gave him work to do. I can't sit down and just write in my journal real quick." They was like, "No, you could only do that on break." I was like, "Okay." So every break I got, I was writing in my journal, writing the book. And then it took me at least 11 months to write the book. And when I finished, I was extremely grateful that I had to dedicate this to Marcus, because he was an inspiration. I didn't get the chance to give him the knowledge that I had. I didn't get a chance to share the world how great he was.
Yeah.
And we actually had an interesting conversation one time. He and I had a differing opinion about how to help people and serve the world. So I always said, I want to leave my legacy behind to help people. And that legacy is about education and healing and motivating. And I want to make all these videos and all these books and leave it behind so that people hundreds of years from now can actually be learning from the information that I gave them, or learning from the information I learned from this person to give back to them.
Yeah.
And he said, "You don't have to leave a legacy behind to do all that. You don't have to do all this, that, the third to do all that. You can literally be this great person, and you being this great person will allow you to be remembered forever in people's hearts. And I said, yeah, that's cool and all, but like, it's not it. And so I was always on social media posting videos and posts and information that help people learn and grow.
Yeah.
And I said, if I could just have one person, I'd be happy. I'd be fulfilled. And he was always saying, if you could just help your neighbor down the street, then I'll be fulfilled.
Wow.
And so when he passed, there was no pictures, there was no videos. It was like barely. You have to scratch for them.
Yeah.
And every single person that talked about him, every single person talked about how amazing he was, how kind he was, how polite he was, how funny he was. He was the funniest person. He used to make fun of me more than anyone else in the world. Anyone. And I used to get upset. I'm like, hey, don't do that. Arr. And and he'd be like, if I don't make fun of you, you're not gonna be prepared for the world when they make fun of you.
Oh wow.
And he taught me a lot like that, you know. And so I think when he said his truth about just being a good person, he exuded that truth. That quality about him was evident in his personality. And so I had to go live with my truth. I had to go make this book. I had to go make these videos.
Live a legacy, yeah.
Because
It's powerful, man. For this.
So that's why it's dedicated to him.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Thank you.
That was deep. Yo, shout out to Marcus. I wish I met that guy. Great guy.
You would have loved him.
I know, for real. Like,
Loved him.
I like his mindset too.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you're always around people like this.
Oh yeah.
You know, people that are always about personal development, growth. You know, always optimistic. And my question is, were you born like this, or like, at what point in your life did you say, I want to stop living? I want to stop existing and leave?
I was not always like this.
Okay.
Growing up, I used to cry a lot. You know, being in foster care, being taken from your family, it's detrimental. And you don't really know who you can talk to, who you can trust, what you can share. So I used to cry a lot, and I used to never tell people why I cried. So they thought I had bipolar or whatever. And every single time I cried, it was, I miss my mom, I miss my dad, I miss my brother, I miss my sister. And, you know, it gets to a point where you say that enough times that you just don't want to tell people anymore.
Yeah.
You just want to be in the moment and cry about it. And then I'd pray every single meal, 3 times a day. Every single meal, I'd pray. Every time I wake up, every time I go to sleep, I'd pray. And it got to the point where I stopped believing. At one point, I was like, all right, you know what? This prayer stuff doesn't work. And I was like 17, 18. And my biological mother, my biological father, they both reached out to me through Facebook, right?
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So the prayers worked. My sister, I connected with her. My brother, I connected with them. I met my whole family. And I was at the point in life where I'm like, is this a better place for me to be at than where I'm at right now? Is this safer? Is it gonna help me better as a person? Am I gonna help them more? Like, what's the case? And I don't really share this too often, but the mother that took me in, she molested me.
Oh, wow.
So from 15 to 18, I was being molested. And, you know, as a male, it's hard to admit that.
Facts.
Because people are like, oh, you wanted that.
You wanted that, yeah.
And at that age, I did. But you don't realize
how fucked up it is.
Until you get older and you're like, this is my mom. And you can't call her mom anymore. And there's this power struggle when I'm trying to have a girlfriend and she's telling me this and she's acting like an ex-jealous girlfriend, and then she's taking my money, calling, and this is where it got worse. Like, it was, you calling me a faggot. Wow. And I like, so with gay people, I understand. Homosexuals, like, when someone's like being mean to you,
yeah.
Because I was the opposite. I'm heterosexual, and someone's calling me gay.
Yeah.
And like, they're trying to project this heinous idea on me because of what they're trying to hide from themselves. They're trying to project. And so, meeting my family again made me really think, like, yo, should I escape with them? Can I leave? Can I talk to them? Can I tell them the truth? And I honestly felt like I couldn't. I didn't feel comfortable enough at that point. I didn't feel safe enough at that point. I didn't feel like I had the voice at that point. I didn't feel like I had the power at that point. I didn't feel like I had the choice at that point. So I hid the truth from everyone until I was probably like 21 when I first told someone. And my family, my dad, he accepted me. The first person I told was an ex-girlfriend, and she hugged me, embraced me, everything. But then there was doubts in there too because of that expectation that now comes with it.
Yeah, you a guy.
Are you gonna repeat the cycle?
Yeah.
So her and I didn't work out too well. She's a good friend now, but not a good, like, we weren't good as a relationship. My next girlfriend, I couldn't even trust her with that information. It was too toxic.
Too toxic, yeah.
And then I met the woman that became my wife. I told her the information, and she hugged me. I cried in her arms. I was vulnerable. I was weak, but I was empowered. And from that moment forward, I told my friend. I told my friend. I told my brother. I told my brother. I told my dad. I told everybody. And the people that really, like, that really saw me for who I was, they embraced who I am. And the people that I used to be friends with growing up, like, I lost them along the way. Except for one of them, like, it was surprising. The person I least expected, actually. But that's another reason why I started Hima Vision. It's just to give people that story, that power, that not that when you're growing up and you're in that situation, you don't feel like you have a choice. You don't feel like you have a position of power that you can go say, hey, this is what's happening, because you're like, what's gonna happen if I go and tell someone that I'm being molested? What's gonna happen? I'm gonna go to the next foster home. I'm gonna be homeless. I'm gonna be kicked out on the street. Like, what's gonna happen? And so this is to let them know, like, you can have a place in life, and you can have power, and you can have a voice. Use it. Don't be afraid. And what really made me do that was she had 2 other foster children, and there was a boy named Jordan. And I told her, I said, you need to promise me you're not going to do what you did to me to him. And she says, what are you talking about? And she tried to dismiss it.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not going to do that. No. You're going to promise me that you're not going to do to him what you did to me. And I said, I mean that. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect this child. And she says, boy, shut the fuck up. And I said, no. I'm not walking away from this situation. So she kicked me out the house. And that was the last time I ever went. And it was just all existing at that point. All of it. But I had already started Hima Vision. I already started living prior to that. And so I called my brother. I said, hey, I don't know how to feel.
Marcus, right?
Grant, actually.
Okay.
I told Marcus a day or two later. I told my wife after too. I said, I don't know how to feel. I want to continue doing Hima Vision, but I don't feel like I'm capable right now because I'm still trying to work on myself. And they said, it's possible to do both. You can do both. But if you feel like you need time to work on you, then absolutely take care of yourself first. So I took a break from posting videos on YouTube. I took a break from like posting stuff on social media. I took a break from everything, and I went to therapy. I talked to my girlfriend at the time, who was not my wife. I talked to my brothers, and I just tried to be the best person I can to heal.
Yeah.
And then, excuse me, it got to that point where Marcus and I were at the house living together, and we were sharing these details about our past.
Yeah.
So when we left, again, 3 months apart,
Yeah.
what had happened was he was on a double date with his other brother, and there was a situation with this guy who wanted to talk to his brother's girlfriend, and his brother went up to his girlfriend and said, hey, let's go, babe. And the guy was like, what are you doing? I'm trying to holler at her. And this isn't the hood, so there's no respect. And then my brother Marcus went up to his brother. He said, hey, are you okay? You good? The guy said, what you gonna do about it? He looked at him. He looked back at his brother. He said, are you good? He said, yeah, bro, let's just get out of here. I don't want any trauma. And so they left before even starting their date. The guy pursued them with 2 other people, and they surprised them in the parking lot, punched them, and then they started fighting back while the girls ran. So the guy pulled out a gun, started shooting.
Oh shit.
And then he was in the hotel. He was the the Ramada Hotel across from Boston Bowl. He was over there, and he had internal bleeding, and apparently the concierge that was working that night was drunk, so he didn't see him. I don't know who's drunk on the job, but it was very convenient for him to be drunk. And so, even then, he still didn't pass away yet. He actually died in the hospital, in the ambulance. They said if they got to him sooner, he would have survived. They did catch the guy. He was in Rhode Island, but it was just a lot of wreck. I feel like I went on a tangent. What was the base of the question again?
Oh no, go on, man. I will. Actually, I forgot the question, but yeah, go on with the story. Like whenever you're done, I'll have another question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was extremely shocking to everyone that he passed, but no one was surprised how he passed. It was like the only way that Marcus would ever be shot at is defending someone else.
Oh, wow.
Like that's who he was known to be. It was a protector. He wasn't going looking for trouble. He was actually always staying inside playing video games to stay away from trouble.
Yeah.
And he was always playing basketball to focus his mind to stay away from trouble. And the one time he decides to go outside and have fun, boom. So it's like you just got to be careful at all times, But again, some people that would be scaring them for life. Like you don't go out anymore.
Don't go out anymore. Yeah.
Even still, I don't get scared about going out. I know the possibilities of danger is all around us.
All around you, yeah.
But that fear is a choice. And I'm not going to be afraid of anything.
That's true.
And if I am, I'm still going to embrace my fear and go after what I want to do.
Facts.
So.
Facts. Wow, that was deep, man. That was deep. I see a lot of I see where you're coming from, man. And it was really tough, man. And I see what you're doing, and trust me, it's very powerful. And that's why I have a platform like this to give a voice to people out there that are coming up with this beautiful ideas, like you have a purpose right now, you're fighting for something, and not everyone is giving you, I feel like, there's no too much empowerment, you understand? Because what you're doing is powerful. If we never got this time to sit and talk like this, I wouldn't even know where you're coming from. I'll probably say, oh, he's just writing for writing's sake or something, but like there's a deep purpose behind this that not even anything can stop, because you had a first-hand experience of all that, first at home, and how horrible it was for you and stuff like that, man. So thank you so much for sharing your story, man. It was beautiful.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, man. Okay, so Marcus died. You lost interest in Himmavision. You lost interest in everything.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of and I completely understand. We've all been in those situations where life happens and you just don't want to do anything, You just want to be like that. What brought you back on your feet? What made you continue the race?
So there was a new motivation. You're actually right. And it was my daughter.
Okay.
I can't look at her in the face every day. Her that jovial smile.
Yeah.
She was just so full of energy. So she is her own individual. Mm. She reminded me so much of him. They're both Aries, and I'm not sure if you're into zodiac or not, but they reminded me of each other. And she's also a seed of mine, and I have a duty and an obligation to take care of her. So I thought, if I passed away like Marcus did, I want to leave something behind for her to be taught, for her to be educated, for her to be learning the lessons that even if I'm dead, I can still teach her.
Facts.
And so I thought, if it's just her, then I have nothing to. I still have something. But I didn't want to leave it at just her. I have brothers that are probably 5 years older than her, and so I wanted to do it for them too. And then I thought about all the children in the world, and I thought about all the people in the world. I'm like, you know what? I can't step away from my purpose, even though I'm broken.
Broken, yeah.
So
facts.
There's this ancient art in Japanese or China, in Japan or China. I forgot which one, but when a vase breaks, they put it back together with gold, so that it looks more beautiful than it did before.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I can imagine that.
And so I had to put myself back together with gold.
With goals. Wow. Yo, that's a powerful place to come from. Like you're broken and you just made up your mind and said, you know what? Yes, I'm broken, but I have to fix myself with gold.
Mm-hmm.
And you look more beautiful than. Damn, I wish every single good thing like that.
It's hard.
It is.
It's really hard. You have to be willing. The first step is to be mentally willing, emotionally willing.
So you believe mental health is the
Absolutely.
mental health, not even physical. You're not moved by muscle. You're not moved by anything. Like you first.
Well, physical health helps with your mental health. Like working out definitely changed how I think. It definitely changed how I feel. You know, I feel more confident when I work out. I feel more, ready to conquer the world. And my goals, plans, and actions.
Yeah.
And I feel like my mind is more focused, more clear, more steady. So mental health is crucial because it makes everything else work out. So I wouldn't want to work out if my mind wasn't right.
Yeah.
But working out makes my mind even better. So they all hand in hand. Your mind, your emotions, your physical, and then your spiritual.
Wow.
I don't know what people believe.
Yeah.
But they gotta believe it's something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful. So from what I'm hearing from you sitting here and everything you've said about goal setting and how much because you've set goals and just like every single human being failed. You get right?
Mm-hmm.
You've even paused on goals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not even lie. But what kept you going was why you set those goals.
Yes, sir.
Your first goal was to Himmavision, and life hit you. Just like everyone else, there was a pause.
Mm-hmm.
There was a failure. There was a point where you weren't moving. That's why a lot of people back out. But now you had a powerful reason, your daughter. And that's what I feel like everybody miss out on life. It's not even about the goal, it's about why you set that goal. If you have a strong reason to wake up every single morning, secondly, you're about to write that book, you were writing that book and then you stopped halfway. You couldn't write a paragraph. Why? Because there was no why. And then Marcus came. And you're like, I have to do this for Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a powerful why. Like, that's a why that nothing on else can break. So this is not like a question, but this is like you can add to it. You believe it's all about the goal, or it's about the why you set those goals? Which is more important, the goal or the why you set those goals?
It's definitely the why.
The why.
You can't do anything without a strong enough why.
That is strong enough why, for real.
There's a quote that says, if your why or your goal for the why, right? Your why for the goal. If it doesn't like scare you,
yeah.
It's not big enough.
It's not big enough, yeah. I've seen that quote.
My goal is to influence 8 billion people, whether they're dead or alive.
Yeah.
And that's the future. That's now. I want to be. I want the education. I want the legacy. I want the impact that I have on helping people to last thousands of years. And that's scary because it's like, damn, I gotta do a lot of work.
Yep.
I gotta make a lot of videos. I gotta do a lot of podcast interviews.
Yep.
I have to do a lot of writing. I have to post a lot. You know, social media makes it easy, but it's not that easy.
Not that easy.
So now I need a team, and I need to be able to do what I have to do, not for me,
for 8 billion people,
but for the 8 billion people, for the people on my team, for my daughter, for everyone that's
the
nieces, for Marcus, everyone. It's no longer about me.
Yeah, because I feel like everyone in life sets goal. It could be work goal.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, okay, my job, I want to make a lot of money. That's a goal right there. And that's why you go to work. You get it, right? But it's like, why do you set these goals? Once that is not a strong enough why, you
can give up.
You can give up. That's like the most important thing. And the why of everything, like, why do you do what you do? And the more powerful your reason is, the more emotional your reason is, the more you are likely to get it, because we speak out of emotion. We do a lot of things out of emotion, you know, and having a why, like those two reasons you came up with, nothing can beat those reasons. You get me, right?
Yes,
Because
sir.
Marcus was someone that meant so much to you. Like, you want to. Now he's dead. If he was alive, it would have been different. You understand, right? If he was still alive, you wouldn't even have been that motivated because you still feel like there is life. But now there is no life. And you're like, I have to do this for someone that is dead. I love this guy so much that I want his name to be something. And now you put up his name. Like, I don't think you said he's not even on social media or like that, you know. That was the only place someone could find his name, and now you still making Marcus is being remembered every single day. So it's like,
I never thought about that.
I know, me too. I just came up with it, like, just talking to you right now. I just came up with that, like, how everything is just kind of like coming together. You know what he wanted. You get me, right? That's what you're doing for him right there. Wow, powerful, brother. Wow, it's a great one, man. So you wrote this book for 11 months. I mean, you had a strong why. And that doesn't mean there were no challenges. What are some of the challenges that you encountered writing this powerful book, and how did you overcome these challenges?
So there were several challenges. One of them is I couldn't type everywhere. I could not type everywhere. You can't just bring out a laptop or a cell phone and type. People don't like you to do that.
Yeah, nah.
You know, but no one gets mad at you for having a journal.
True.
Not a single person in the world gets mad at you for having a pen and paper. You could just be taking notes about anything.
Yeah.
So you could be in any meeting, you could be in any room, any setting, 8 times out of 10, and just have a journal and write. And so that was problem number one that was solved. I figured out that I can't write with a laptop or a cell phone.
Yeah.
I can't write with a journal because no one's gonna tell me no.
Fact.
Even at work when I'm teaching kids, because they expect us to have a journal and write.
Yeah.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Second thing was work. I just said it, like, they didn't want me to work on this. They wanted me to focus on the kids.
What they were paying for, yeah.
And even if I set the kids up to do work, I had to watch them do the work.
Yeah.
Because they're watching me to see if I'm watching them.
Yeah.
So I had to do it only on breaks. So my time was limited.
Yeah.
And then I get home, I'm a father, and I'm a fairly new father at that. And it's really hard to do anything as a new father.
Yeah.
It's hard to do anything as a father, but it's hard to do anything as a new father.
Yeah.
And so it was a balance between feeding her right, changing her diaper, getting enough sleep, and then my wife was at work at the time I'm doing this, so it's just me and my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I gotta write, but I can't. So I gotta make sure she goes to sleep. By the time she gets to sleep, I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
I taught kids all day, and now I gotta educate my daughter, make sure she's good.
Yeah.
So that was in itself a challenge.
Bro.
But I don't know how, but I managed to do it. I woke up earlier. I woke up at least 30 minutes to an hour earlier to literally write at least a page, a chapter or something.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a word, like, cool, this is an idea.
Yeah. That's consistency right there, you know? Yeah.
And it didn't work every day.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna get up and do great every single day. Sometimes I failed. Sometimes I didn't write anything that day. But I was like, you know what? It's not gonna get done on its own. The paper is not gonna get up. The pencil's not gonna get up and just start writing words for me, you know. And then so I started like writing it, and then I started typing it. And when I had my first editor, they got to a couple of chapters at the end, and they're like, "What the fuck is this? You got lazy." The beginning was so great,
and then
you got lazy. I was like, all right, I can't lie, like,
no excuses.
Yeah, so I had to go back, and I was like, you know what? It's gonna take me a couple more months. And when I told everyone I was already done with the book, it was like in December of like 2018, 2019, I forget. And I had to not put the book out because it wasn't done. I thought it was done, but that's a lie. It wasn't done the way it needed to be. And so then I finished it again. I had a second editor, and they were like, "You got this, you got that, you have to fix, blah 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 blah." And so again, I'm like, damn, I'm just gonna stop bringing it to an editor. I got upset with the editors. You know, they always tell you no.
No, yeah.
And so then I got to a third editor after I finished it again.
Wow.
And they were like, okay, this is good. It could be longer. And I was like, longer? I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna say this longer. This is all the value this required. So I started asking a couple of people that I was inspired by, like people that they're like you, they're like my mentor, that are like people that I know that are consistent and dedicated and always working towards their goals and always striving to be the best of what they do in their craft. And I asked that, hey, do you think I should release a short book, but it's filled with a lot of value, or should I make it longer? And every single person I asked, they said, if the value's in there already, it doesn't need to be longer. If your book is concise, it has all the points it needs to hit,
Yeah.
cool. If it's missing those points, you need to get back. You need to get back to that book and start writing it again. So, I asked another person. He said, "What's better? What's better? A long paragraph explaining what you could explain in one sentence, or one sentence explaining what you could say in an entire paragraph?" And I said, I guess the sentence. He was right. If that's all that you need to write the book is 48 pages,
Yeah.
and that has all the value you need in it, good. Then I said, okay, cool. And then he said, but I got a tip for you. You're not done with the book. You're done with the book, but you're not done with the book. When you finish this book, and the people that read this book, they give you feedback, add that in there, because it's going to make their voices heard.
Yeah.
And that's what you want, right? You want people's voices heard.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to make a second edition that's enhanced for the reader that already read the first book.
Yeah.
And so far, I've already sold 30 copies of the book.
Okay.
And it's only been 1 month of actually publishing the book.
Yeah.
And I actually only did 3 hours of actual sales, like in total. It took the entire month of November. I spent 20 minutes texting 100 people, which can get tedious, right?
Yeah.
You know, but you got to do what's needed to get what you want.
Yeah, fact.
And so after I texted those people, it took 20 minutes. I did it again through IG like a week later. Took 30 minutes. I did it again through an app that sent it to 500 people. That took about 45 minutes because I had to make sure that it was right for every person. It was supposed to be in the group.
Yeah.
And then once it was right, boom, blast feed. And it didn't send it all at once. I have to go hit send.
Yeah.
But it was still better than me sending it copy, paste.
Yeah.
So you get better as you go along. And then in total, I did 3 hours of work. And so I was like, okay, this is great. This is phenomenal. I'm helping people. I have 30 people who bought the book. 30 people. And to me, it was phenomenal that 30 people bought the book in the first month. Because I was like, wow. It's not about them buying the book and paying me. It's about the impact that I'm about to have in their life now.
Yeah.
Because when I told myself when I started Hima Vision, I said, if I could help one person, I'm fulfilled. When I first started. And that one person has surpassed me, and I surpassed them, and then they surpassed me, and then I surpassed them, and we keep inspiring each other. They are now they are one of the godmoms of my child.
Oh, wow.
And I never would have thought that what I do with Hima Vision would have brought somebody close to me as like a family member.
Yeah.
And it did.
Love that, man.
And so now that the fact that I have the potential to help 30 more people through the book, I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping right here.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what they have to say.
True.
I want to hear what they got to, what they think, what they feel,
Yeah.
what they went through when they were reading the book. Like where did they go with their mind? And I want to incorporate that into the book. I want to incorporate that to reviews. I want to incorporate that to other people, because at the end of the day, like, so one of the core values, right? Remember I said there's 4 core values.
Yeah.
Somebody who edited the book for me, or he said, it's great that you have one of the chapters I'm gonna reveal is know yourself. Not many people know how to know themselves. Not many people think that that's a priority. You know, part of knowing yourself is knowing what you do like, what you don't like, what makes your heart race, what makes it calm. You know, and for me, when I thought I was in a relationship, that I had to go after a girl that made my heart race. And you know, when you live a whole life of heart racing, heart racing, heart racing, it it's kind of something you're just attracting, right? You attract that because that's what you are.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere, and I read it when I was with my current my current wife, who was my former girlfriend. But when I read it, she was my girlfriend at the time. It said, how does it go again? It goes, when you go home, there should be no war. You should be at peace. You don't want to fight the world and come home and fight the people you love at home.
Yeah.
And every time I was around her, I felt peace.
Peace. Yeah.
I felt so warm, so embraced. My heart calmed. And so, when you know yourself, you know this part of yourself. Yeah. You know that this is something that you desire, and it takes a lot to recognize that in the moment fluctuation of your heartbeat, that in the moment desire to be with this environment, to be with this person, to be at this job, to be at this, to be any situation. You have to know who you are and what you desire in life.
Makes sense.
So when he said that, I appreciated that because that's part of the core values. You can't do anything else in life until you know yourself. Otherwise, you just be existing.
Facts. Wow. I've never read the book yet, but I'm already like mind blown. Like, I'm looking forward to reading the book. Is there gonna be a hard copy?
So I've generated over at least $700 in sales.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me to go buy hard copies. I'm gonna do a giveaway actually for the first 5 books. I'm gonna buy 25 books. So for the first 5 books, I'm giving them away. I'm gonna do a little challenge, a contest, something like that. And they're gonna be there. So I'm already working on hard copies.
Yeah.
That's definitely the next investment.
I'm a hard copy reader. I really don't know how to read from laptop or.
And a lot of people are like that. So
yeah.
That's why I'm grateful that I already generated enough sales to let my assets buy more assets.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Yo, I'm happy to hear that because I like holding something. I like taking notes. I like doing all that with my pen and paper. Like if you look at it, so that's why I haven't actually, like laptop and all that too much lights enough. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this book. Trust me, I should be one of those first guys to get that book when you drop it.
Thank you.
Hey, bro. My pleasure, man. So real quick, there's this video I saw on Instagram. I still want to talk about this video because it's a very powerful video. And guys, if you guys are not following this guy, I want you guys to definitely follow him, okay? So this video, you talked about action. I came across that video last week or so. And I've seen motivational videos. I've seen people say things. Some don't even make sense. Some I'm like, what are you even saying? You get back because this don't even make sense. But your video was so powerful that I had to share it on my story.
Thank you.
I don't really share everything on my story, but I really I understood where you're coming from. I understood everything you said in that video, and it was about taking action. Mm-hmm. And I know it's in the book, and I know you don't want to go deep. But can you, explain this video and how important taking action is quickly for us, please, if it's possible?
Okay. So I'll paraphrase what I said in the video.
Yeah.
But basically, a lot of people, they love, they live in this dream la la land about their desires and their goals and their plans, and then when it comes to actually executing them, they dread it. They're just upset. They're like, I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And why put off what you could do tomorrow, right? If I'm trying to work out,
yeah,
I'm trying to bend muscle. If I want to have a physique like yours, right? Or a physique like anyone.
Anyone, yeah.
And I say, I'm going to work out tomorrow. Do you think I'm going to have that physique?
No.
No, because you work out how often?
Every day.
Every day. And how often do you work out in that day?
Like 2 hours.
2 hours. 2 hours. So if I don't work out at all and you work out every day, there's no way I'm gonna get to the point where you at
Yeah, you already missed 2 hours of workout that day that you didn't
yesterday.
go. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the concept of this is just get 1% better every day. If you can do one thing to get yourself better, read one book. I mean, read. You
One
can't
page.
you can't read a whole page. Read one paragraph. Read. Drink one smoothie. If you can't eat like a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables. If you can't drink a whole smoothie, eat one banana. If you can't work out for 2 hours, do one push up.
Yep.
It's about building the habits that are gonna lead to later success.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't get myself in the gym, they closed now because of COVID, but when I couldn't get myself into the gym, I was like, how do people work out for 2-3 hours? I don't get it. It's hard. It's hard. But you put yourself in the environment that's going to cultivate success, right? So I went to the gym, and I was in the gym for at least 2-3 hours. I was like, what the hell? When you prioritize the things in your life, you're going to go after it even further, and you're going to spend time in it more. So if there's a rule for me, right, and this is part of action, right? If I could just do it for 5 minutes, just do it for 5 minutes. If I could just do it one time, just start with the baby steps. Do it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
You'll end up doing it for like 20 minutes to an hour, right?
True.
Or there's another tip. You could do it for 20 minutes, take a break. 20 minutes, take a break. Why? Because it's building up that habit, right? There was a TED Talk that was going on. There was a gentleman, he said, 20 hours is all it takes to learn a new skill. Yes, it's 5,000 hours to master a skill, but it's only 20 hours to learn a new skill. So 20 minutes a day for an entire month will generate you that 20 hours to learn a new skill. And for 20 minutes a day, I practiced the ukulele. And I got good enough to learn one song at the end of the month. All it takes is action.
20 minutes. I think that's what I'm going to challenge myself. Something different, 20 minutes. And there's a book called Compound Effect.
Yes, that's exactly what it's about.
And it's all about just taking little steps.
Mm-hmm.
That's what try to kills people, because they want to take big steps in a
has to
short
be
period
perfect.
of time. Yeah, they have to be perfect, but they don't know that it's all about doing little things for a long period of time that actually builds that discipline and that great result. You understand, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, I like 100% agree with you, man. Like everything you say, everything you've said out of your mouth. Something I 100% agree. There's nothing I disagree with you, man. That's how much I believe in what you're saying, man. So, how do people reach out to you? If someone wants to get this book, or if they want to be in contact with you, hear you speak or something, like how do people reach out to you right now?
So they could either reach me at my website at hima-vision.com. That's
Okay.
HIMA-vision.com. Or they could follow me on Instagram, Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Hima_vision. Facebook is visions.from.hima.
Wow.
But you'd also text me at my phone number, 857-615-8830.
Awesome. Wow.
Emails, visions.hima@gmail.com.
Wow. Damn, bro, this was a good one. For real, like, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this powerful story and great knowledge with us, man. I'm looking forward to having you on this episode. Trust me, this is yours, okay? Whenever you have something that yeah, bro, like please come on it. You get me, right? I just have to book you in and we can talk as much as we want, because like what made me start this podcast was I realized there was so much potential in my friends. Like you told me earlier on, like we're all a living book, like just walking around. People have so much knowledge that they don't even know themselves. Like I was sitting with friends and we're having these conversations about mind blowing. I'm like, wow, you think like this? And I just have to put it out there for the world to hear. I just have to put it out there for the world to hear. I just have to, celebrate people that think like this. And so that was what made me come up with this podcast. And trust me, having you on this episode, this podcast, this episode, and what we've gone through right now, I feel fulfilled, man. I feel fulfilled because like I don't know anybody else listening right now, but there's so much I've learned from this, and I am very grateful, man. So thank you so much for coming, man.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for the great job you're doing. That book is beautiful, and anyhow we can be of help, in assistance to help you reach out to more people. We're definitely down to do it, bro. Yeah.
I got one more message for the masses.
Drop it.
And this is not even mine, but this is such a gold gem, right? You have to just apply it to your life. There is so much gold and diamonds and gems and material of wealth that has been buried in cemeteries, right?
Yeah.
And none of that is actual gold, diamonds, gems, or material wealth. It's all here in someone's mind.
Someone's mind.
And people are afraid to bring it into this world. People are afraid to share it with the world. Don't let it go to waste.
Facts.
Don't let it stay in your mind.
Facts.
Share it with the world.
Facts.
Bring it into reality.
Facts. Wow. That was a perfect way to end this conversation. Guys, whatever idea you have, okay, don't let it go to waste. Like, just do it.
Just do it, like Nike.
Nike, just do it. It don't matter how you start, just do it. You learn as you go. Like that's my motto. Like no one's waiting for the right. Just go and learn, and then you keep getting better. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. It was a great conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because if you guys can tell, I'm so relaxed. I want to have more conversation with this guy, but it's just because of time. We're gonna end this conversation right now, okay? But with that said, like I said once again, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and please go visit our sponsors, Devin and Associates, okay? Please go visit our sponsors, Devin and Associates, okay? Baby. So, peace.
Episode 22.
Whew. Wow.